Despite being impeached twice, attempting to undermine the peaceful transfer of power, facing numerous criminal charges and being accused of plotting autocratic rule, Donald Trump is currently leading the race for the Republican presidential nominations by nearly 40 percentage points, marking a significant resurgence for the one-term president who was seemingly defeated and humiliated just 3 years ago. Yet, Donald Trump could still return to the White House. In the most recent Reuters Ipsos poll of Republican voters, Donald Trump is leading his competitors for the Republican presidential nomination by nearly 40 percentage points, marking a notable comeback for the one-term president who appeared defeated and humiliated 3 years ago. Trump, who maintains his innocence in the face of various criminal charges, asserts that they are politically motivated. Furthermore, his successful victory in Iowa on January 15 has brought him closer to securing the Republican nomination, prompting one of his remaining rivals, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, to withdraw from the race, leaving only former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley to challenge Trump. Here are a few reasons explaining why Trump could emerge victorious in the upcoming presidential elections, according to experts. Firstly, unhappy voters. Despite the Biden White House's assertion that the economy is in good condition with unemployment dropping to a near historic low of 3.7% and inflation decreasing from its June 2022 peak of over 9% to 3.4% in December, a significant portion of the public, particularly voters of color and young voters, disagrees. The highlight concerns such as wages not keeping up with the rising cost of essential goods and services like groceries, cars, houses, and child and elder care. When discussing the economy, Americans tend to focus on affordability rather than abstract economic indicators. Surveys indicate that despite Trump's offering of vague proposals, voters overwhelmingly perceive Republicans as more adept stewards of the economy. Speaking to fear addressing apprehensions that go beyond economic concerns, Trump taps into the anxieties, whether real or perceived, of many white Americans in a nation experiencing increasing diversity and cultural progressiveness. A prevailing sense of losing ground is felt as key aspects of American life, such as home ownership, a decent wage keeping pace and with inflation, and access to higher education, seemingly increasingly unattainable for many. Polls indicate voters concerned about crime and unease regarding the influx of migrants crossing the US-Mexico border illegally. Trump demonstrates skill in channeling and packaging these fears, and while portraying himself as an outsider to the US political system, he assumes the dual role of both an instigator, declaring chaos in the country, and a problem solver, positioning himself as a savior. Many voters do not consider Trump's action as disqualifying. While critics from his own party, the Democratic Party, and the media deem him unfit for office, a significant number of voters hold a different perspective. Many of his supporters firmly believe that Trump is a victim of a political witch hunt. In fact, a survey earlier this year revealed that at least half of Republicans would not hesitate to vote for Trump even if he were convicted of a crime. Trump can also highlight his 4 years in office, arguing that the machinery of government largely operated, albeit chaotically at times. Despite concerns about his ability to govern, he contends that the most serious allegations against him, such as collusion with Russia, were never substantiated. All blame falls on Biden. With no credit given, Trump can also take advantage of a White House that so far has been unable to persuade much of the public that Biden's job creation policies, through heavy government investment in infrastructure, clean energy, and cheap manufacturing, have made a difference to their lives. Biden also has been saddled with a pair of foreign wars that have divided Americans. Trump's non-interventionist America First message may resonate with voters fearful of further U.S. involvement in Ukraine or Israel, while Biden maintains a more traditional interventionist American foreign policy. None of these, of course, means Trump is certain to win the election. He remains deeply unpopular in many parts of the country and among many demographics, and if he is chosen as his party's nominee, it could provoke a high turnout in favor of Democrats to counter him. His inflammatory rhetoric, including threats to take revenge on political enemies he denounces as vermin, could also be a turnoff for more moderate Republicans and independent voters who will need to beat Biden. Democrats have also successfully campaigned as defenders of abortion rights to defeat Republicans across the country in a series of elections and will again make that issue central to their 2024 campaign. But at this moment, 10 months from election day, Trump stands a better chance of returning to the White House than at any point since he left office. In conclusion, while acknowledging that challenges and controversies surrounding Donald Trump, it is essential to recognize that his resonance with certain voters' sentiments, adept political maneuvering, and the perceived shortcomings of the current administration provide a pathway for him to potentially secure victory in the upcoming presidential election. Trump's ability to tap into the concerns of a significant portion of the electorate, coupled with his distinct policy messaging, may contribute to a compelling electoral narrative, making his return to the White House a plausible outcome. However, it remains crucial to consider the dynamic nature of political landscapes and the uncertainties that can shape the final outcome as the election unfolds.